Hello, Jon Mutchler here with what I call an outsider's inside perspective on City of Ferndale business. I have been wanting to talk about our water and our sewer bills for some time, but I thought that I would wait until we had all received our bills in the mail. Mine came a couple days ago, and I would highly recommend that you grab your bill right now, put the tape on pause, and have it in front of you as we talk about this subject. Oftentimes said when I was mayor that I hated 2 days the most. I hated the day when I received my own City of Ferndale water and sewer bill. I have a large family, and right now that bill is approaching every 2 months $400. The second day that I hated was the day after, when I would sometimes hear from some of you either via email or a phone call complaining about your large bill. So I want to talk about the water and sewer bills today. Hopefully you'll understand it better and actually maybe get some tips on how to save some money. The first point I want to make is that your bill is a 2-month bill, and I think perhaps most people know that. It comes out every 2 months, and I know that some citizens would prefer to have a monthly bill. This saves you money. We are manually reading the meters at this time. We currently do not have the infrastructure and equipment to do telemetry or radio wave reading. We are reading them by hand manually every month, some 5,000 meters that personally, individually need to be dealt with, and so that takes time. So we're doing that 6 times a year, every other month, rather than 12 times a year. We're also saving money by billing less, and the computer work is less, and the service that we use to provide these bills is less. So this is a money saving measure for you, although I will admit it may be inconvenient at times. My second point is I want to go directly into the question of what do you do when you have an extraordinary, abnormal, really high bill. It might be because of a hidden leak that you're not aware of. Or maybe somebody left something on for a couple weeks. Maybe a garden hose was running, you didn't know about it. Or it could be under this category that we call mystery. We don't really know what it is. What can you do? Well, the city has a program. It's an adjustment program. We used to call it a get out of jail free card that you can use once in a while. I'm not quite sure how often you can use it. It's either 2 years or 5 years, depending on the circumstances, but I want to caution you to use it wisely because you only get one every once in a while. How do you do that? Well, simply contact the City of Ferndale, the utility department. You can email them at utilitybilling@cityofferndale.org. Again, utilitybilling, one word, at cityofferndale.org, or the phone number for utilities at the city, and they will help you. They want to help you. The number is 360-384-4269. The third point I want to make is that when you pay your water bill, you're actually paying 3 separate but related utilities in that one bill. It's really similar to maybe your digital bill. You might be paying a company for TV and internet and phone in one bill, but with the City of Ferndale, you're paying for 3. They're like separate businesses, and in a legal sense, they're treated as separate businesses. They are, number one, of course, your water bill, which you know what that is. We have 3 wells that we have to maintain and use and run and pay for the expansion, the infrastructure for. The second component is the sewer part of your bill, and I think we all know what sewer is, and that is typically almost always the more expensive part of your bill, which makes sense. Sewer is going to be more difficult to treat than water from the ground. And then the final part of your bill that you may not be aware is called either stormwater or storm drain. If you have your bill with you, as I have mine, it's listed on the far right underneath your total bill, and you have water, sewer, and storm drain, or we often just call it stormwater. Stormwater is for water runoff, water that hits the roof of your house, your sidewalks, your driveways, the streets, parking lots, driveways, and things like that. that water needs to be collected and treated before we allow it back into nature. There are a couple really good reasons we do that, and besides being required by law, perhaps that's the first reason. We are required by law to handle stormwater issues, and it has become one of the most significant expenses to developers. In fact, I'll just say right now, I got more calls from developers and builders about stormwater issues than just about, I think, anything else. It's a fairly new subject, it's a concern, it's a challenge, but it's done, first of all, for the environment, not letting pollutants back into our environment, but it's also done in order to prevent flooding. And you know, people, you probably know somebody, if you're maybe one of them that has a basement that floods, maybe because there was not correct engineering done. Stormwater engineering to prevent flooding from happening. So it's a complicated process in order to deal with rain and runoff, so there's not damage to the environment, and there's not flooding in people's basements. So that is a charge that you see on that. As you drive through the city of Ferndale, you see probably storm water ponds everywhere. Most of the infrastructure is underground, but it is there collecting the water that hits these surfaces, and you're charged for that every month, and that's the smallest item on your bill. Number 4, I want to mention that these are 3 separate enterprise funds. Water, sewer, and storm, or you might think of them as small businesses run by the city, and they must be kept independent and separated from one another and separated from the rest of the city. There cannot be a commingling of funds. In other words, you can't dip into the water fund or the storm fund to pay for a new street or pay for some new police officers or uniforms or something like that. They are treated separately, they're legally accounted for separately, and they're run like independent businesses, although they're not allowed to make a profit or pay shareholders. They're meant to support themselves and to support their expansions and improvements. And what you're paying for in your bill are things like equipment and supplies and chemicals, salaries and benefits, overtime, insurance, professional fees, training, debt service. Debt service is a big deal, paying off these large projects. As you know, the city recently opened up a new well just off of Lego, and also we are upgrading right now our wastewater treatment plant, our wastewater treatment plant, also called our sewer plant. Millions of dollars that go into debt service for that. We also pay B&O taxes. It's like a business, and so business and occupation tax. Our city of Ferndale, these 3 enterprise funds pay the state taxes, and those are all loaded in the fees that you see on that bill. The bottom line is you're paying for that operation. You're paying for that resource, that commodity, water, sewer, and storm conveyance. And that's what your bill goes towards, with one exception. And that leads to my 5th point. The city of Ferndale is allowed to tax utilities. Most utilities have a cap of a tax of 6%. Things like your cable TV, your telephone, natural gas, electricity. There's a 6% tax that is applied to those, and usually you can see that on your bill. Most of the bills have those on there. But the unique situation about city water, sewer, and storm is that the city can tax that enterprise directly. You do not see it on your bill, but it's passed along to you in the rates themselves. And the current tax rate for water, sewer, and storm utilities is 9%. 9% of the entire enterprise is taxed. That does in fact go to the city of Ferndale to cover things like the city administration, law enforcement, the general services that are part of the city of Ferndale. I'll just note that that is a tax that can be unlimited. When I began serving on council, that tax was 6%. But council began to move it higher until its present amount of 9%. This is one reason you want to keep on your council, because that amount can go up as high as they want it to go. 4 council members can vote a utility tax increase. It's been 9% for a while, and I suspect it will probably stay that for some time, but we never know. We need to keep an eye on things. I'll make a note of this too. Utility taxes in general, all utility taxes, garbage, internet, phone, natural gas, water, sewer. Do you realize that those utility taxes bring more revenue to the city than both property taxes and sales taxes combined? They just do. Utility taxes are really important to the city of Ferndale. We absolutely would not have the police department we have now, a first-class quality police department and police station, without utility taxes. Point number 6 is that your city council votes on these utility taxes and really all fees that the city has, and then the mayor signs it into law. We have a rate page. If you want to look at the specific details of water and sewer and stormwater rates, I'm going to give you the website right now. It's very easy to find. You go to the cityofferndale.org homepage. You go all the way across the menu, across the far right, until it says resources. You click resources, and under resources you go way down to the bottom to a link that says unified fee schedule. Unified fee schedule, and you open that up and you see lots of fees to lots of things. But if you go to pages 7, 8, and 9, you can read some details about the water, the sewer, and the stormwater rates. So number 7, let's get into things a little bit. I'm going to start with the easiest one, stormwater. On my bill right here, it's going to be the bottom line. After water, after sewer, you're going to have the storm drain fee. On my bill, it's $33.11. $33.11. If you look on yours, it's going to be the same. The stormwater fee applied to all homes in Ferndale, and that's a 2-month charge, of course, $33.11. That manages our massive stormwater system throughout the city. It's the same for you as it is for me. It's a fixed rate for all single-family homes. Commercial properties that are larger will pay a larger rate. That amount is on page 9 of the document I mentioned earlier, the unified fee schedule. It says here that the rate for this year is going to be $33.11. Next year it will be $34.76, and the year after that, in the year 2022, it will be $36.50. So the increases have already been built in, and that's what you will be paying for that. I will note, and this will not make some people happy, there is a small inequity in the stormwater portion of our bills. Everybody pays it. Every business pays it. Anybody who has property that's been improved upon is going to pay for it. But there are what we call neighborhood associations in our city, several of them. And a number of these neighborhood associations collect fees and dues from its members. You may be one of them. And some of them are required to maintain and take care of their own stormwater system. Usually a storm pond somewhere that they have to take care of and make sure it's going to work and function over the long term. So a sad inequity that occurs in our city is some people are paying for the overall city system in addition to what they're paying for in their neighborhood. The next item I would like to talk about, and it gets a little bit more complicated, but I think we can get through this. This is point number 8. Let's look at the water bill part of our utility bill. I'm looking at mine right now, and my water portion for the 2 months ending in July, $154.90. $154.90. How in the world did we get there? Well, the water rates are done with 2 components. There is a fixed fee that everybody pays, regardless of the water they use. You could use no water. You could turn off all the faucets, leave for a few months, and you will still pay this base fee. The amount is $20.50 for 2 months. That's about $10 a month for using no water. That pays for the privilege of being connected to our system. And then there is a progressive rate amount. in that the more water you use at certain trigger points, the rate gets higher. This is much like our what's called a progressive income tax. I'm not a big fan of the progressive income tax, but that's what we have. The progressive income tax starts at 10%, then the next chunk of money you earn is at 12%, then 22%, then 24%. The city of Ferndale treats its water the same way. The more you use, you don't just pay more because of that volume, but the rate actually increases. Here are the numbers. We have a unit called a CCF. We'll come back to that in a bit. It stands for 100 cubic feet, a CCF. We'll look at that in our next point. And the first 10 units are charged at $4.50 for each unit. If you're doing the math, that's going to be $45 for 2 months for your water if you stop at 10 units. If you go from 11 to 15, the next break, you're going to go up to $4.96 for each of those 5 units. After that, from 16 units to 30 units, you're going to pay $5.87. And anybody who uses more than 30 units, that'll be unit number 31 and beyond, they're going to pay $6.53 per unit. So it's a progressive rate, and the intent is, right or wrong, is conservation, to motivate people to use less and less water. Now, point number 9, what in the world is a unit? You'll look on your bill, and I circled it here in magenta. It says I used 26 units in that period of time between June and July, 26 units. But what in the world is a unit? Well, our bills now tell us what a unit is. If you look along the side here, it says usage in CCF. The unit is a CCF. C stands for 100, like C note or century, 100. And C is, the second C is for cubic, and then F for feet. 100 cubic feet. If you want to visualize 100 cubic feet, that would be a box a little bit less than 5 cubic feet. That's 5 feet by 5 feet by 5 feet. That box would hold 100 cubic feet, which comes out to 748 gallons. That's a good number to memorize, 748 gallons. And I noticed on my bill, because I asked for it to be done a couple years ago, they started adding the gallons. So right under the consumption, it says 26 units. You see current usage in gallons, and you can multiply it yourself. 26 units times 748 gallons. It has it exactly right at 19,448 gallons. That makes more sense to me than 26 units. I hope it's helpful to you too. Finally, number 10, let's look at the sewer portion of your bill, which for some people, it's not just the most expensive part of your bill, it's also the most complicated. The sewer portion for most people's bills is almost twice as much as the water portion. But if you think about that for a moment, it makes sense. It takes a lot more infrastructure and technology in order to take what we call black water or sewer water and treat it and put it back in the environment. The rates are also found on that unified fee schedule found on the city website. And you'll find that sewer also has a base charge that everybody pays, every residential home pays, of $34.54. You remember the water base pay was $20 and change. The sewer base pay is base rate is $34.54 every 2 months, regardless of whether you flush a toilet or not. You could be on vacation and you'll still get charged the rate. But then there's also a unit rate based on your water usage, and this is how the theory works. We cannot measure sewage. It's just not practical or possible, but we can measure water usage. And the theory is that you're going to approximately use the same amount of sewage as you are water, at least proportionally. And so it's based on your water rate. And the unit rate for sewage for the city right now is $8.92, almost twice as much as the water rate for the sewage rate. It doesn't have a progressive difference going on here. It stays the same regardless if you use 1 unit or 5,000 units. It's $8.92. But wait, there's something going on here. On my bill, my current bill that just came that represents June and July, says that my sewer portion is only $204. My water portion was $155. When I do the math and back into it, and it's easy to do, it indicates that I'm only being charged for 19 units of sewage usage, even though my consumption of water was 26 units. Again, I'm billed for 26 units for the water, but my sewage part is only being billed for 19 units. That's because of the summer discount. And what it is doing, it's looking for my average sewage use during the non-summer months. That would be October through May. Those 8 months are averaged out, and I'm paying the sewage rate for those months during the summer, because the thought is during summer months, everybody's water tends to go up because we're watering our yards. And that's not going in the sewer. We're maybe washing our cars. That water is probably going in the storm drain system, but not the sewage system. We're using a lot more water for recreation and things like that. So the thinking is we're not putting a greater demand on our sewer system, and so we shouldn't be charging people for the summer. Again, it's called the summer discount. It's something that the citizens wanted, and the council approved it last year to continue and to go forward. So thank you for watching. This turned out to be a longer video than normal, but we're getting to the end. I just want to mention and encourage you to look on the back of your bill. There's a lot of helpful information on the back of your current bill. Also, the city website, they do a great job of organizing helpful information about utilities. And when you go there to the cityofferndale.org page, you'll see a big water faucet right on the front there. Click on that. You can get help on how to handle those strange bills where you might need an adjustment, or we have what's called a rate assistance program for low-income households. So if you're at a lower income, you might qualify for a 25% discount on your water and sewer bills. And there are also videos there and tips on how to save water and save money. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about this subject or other subjects that you want someone who used to be in public service for 10 years that might know a thing or two, it might even turn into a video. Leave those comments or send that email to me at jonmutchler@gmail.com. And with that, have a great day.